Hello and welcome to Wisconsin in Focus, powered by the Center Square. I'm JD Davidson, the Center Square Midwest Regional Editor. Joining me today is Ben Yount, Wisconsin contributor for the Center Square. Ben, how are things today?
We are under 2 weeks till pitchers and catchers report. I think exactly 2 weeks till pitchers and catchers report. So as much as I enjoy watching college basketball, I hope springs eternal with the return of baseball every spring. And look, I at this point, I'd watch a bunch of farm team kids swing poorly at the ball in Arizona than have to watch another Xavier St. John's 62-63 matchup.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm a high school basketball official, and this time of year, everybody's antsy. My temper's a little short. And 47 to 42 high school basketball games start to get on everybody's nerves. We are recording this on Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Ben, I don't know if we're smart, experienced, or jaded, but we predicted last week redistricting maps would continue to be in the news and that we'd talk about them again. And we're right. I don't think we need special recognition for that, but it's always good to be right. So predictably, Governor Evers vetoed maps he drew. Well, drew 99% of. Why did he veto them?
Yeah, I'll answer that first question first. I am not a particularly bright man. This is just a movie that we have seen time and time and time again. And yeah, you're right. We'll talk about this all the way through March when the new maps are due. And then we'll talk about the court cases. We're going to be talking about this up to and including the November election, because whatever gets done with these maps is going to determine who's on the ballot come November. And so, yeah, this is a story that, again, this is the Ben Yount Employment 2024 Act, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah,
God bless government.
Yes. Thank you for being Wisconsin as a swing state. But look, the governor drew these maps to specifically draw incumbent Republicans out of their districts. Some lawmakers were a couple of 100 feet. Others were a couple of blocks. If you take a look at the map that the governor's office drew, it was drawn specifically to force Republicans to run against each other, as well as specifically to flip the legislature from a Republican majority to a Democratic majority. Now, Republican lawmakers came in and tweaked some, not all, but some of those, in their words, egregious district lines. They put some of these sitting lawmakers back into their districts. Well, the governor said that's gerrymandering. Republicans would point out that the governor sees fit to draw people out of their districts. That's not gerrymandering. That's fair.
It's in the eye of the beholder, I think. Whoever beholds the pen.
And this is the reality. And again, I say this all the time, that there is absolutely nothing illegal or unconstitutional about drawing political maps with a political bent. This happens in every state where lawmakers are in charge, and constitutionally lawmakers are in charge. We'll get to that at another point. But yeah, what the governor did may not be right in the terms of, well, let's just have a fair map, but it also is not wrong in the sense that it's not been banned. You cannot draw lines to put all of the black voters here and all of the Asian voters there. That's not allowed. But if you want to draw a map that favors Republicans, the Supreme Court says you can. If you want to draw a map that favors Democrats, the Supreme Court says you can. Just take a look at Illinois. But yeah, those tiny changes, the 0.3% of changes that Republicans made, that gave the governor the excuse to say, these aren't my maps, and he is going to veto them. And sure enough, he did. Now, as we tape this here on the 1st of February, we're waiting for the Wisconsin Supreme Court to see if it selects any of these specific maps, because there were 7 selections. But this was the legislature's end around to try and either get the governor to accept his maps, which are not as bad for Republicans as some of the others, or more to the point, try and have this conversation that we're having of why wouldn't the governor accept maps that are 99% of what he has? And the real answer, it borderlines on opinion, but the answer as to why the governor wouldn't sign a map that's 99% of what he wanted is because in reality, he may get 110% of what he wants from the Wisconsin Supreme Court here in a month and a half.
Forgive me for being stupid, but could anyone submit maps?
Yeah.
So if you and I got bored and wanted to carve up the state of Wisconsin into political districts, we could do that and submit it.
We missed the deadline, unfortunately.
Next time.
There were some maps drawn by some UW professors. The governor's office drew maps. The Republican legislature drew maps. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty drew maps. And their maps, by the way, when you take a look at the sort of nonpartisan grading system, the maps from Will are actually the most fair. They've been ranked the most fair because they dealt specifically with getting rid of the municipal islands. That was the issue that got these maps before the court, which are tiny little bumps of a city. All right. So, it's Madison. And if you drive down Mulberry Street, the folks on the north side of the street are in this district, but the folks on the south side of the street are on that district. And then if you turn on 17th Street, well, they're in the same district as those folks on the north side of the road on Mulberry. And so you get these sort of little, think of it like grapes on a vine. The little bundles of grapes, and well, here's this and here's that. And they're not necessarily connected, but they're all connected. The Will maps dealt with that specifically and took the idea of pure partisan politics out. And so it chopped the state up based on equal representation to fix the one specific issue. And it still came out to give Democrats more seats, not more seats than Republicans, but more seats than what they have now. And so, yeah, this is the interesting part of when a Supreme Court says, well, why don't you just tell me what kind of maps you would like to see? That everybody sends those maps in. And it just, again, crystal ball, Ben Stradamus. The court also has some outside experts who are likely going to be the ones to draw the maps. And all expectations is that they will be heavily favored for Democrats.
And that's March 15th or 13th?
15th.
And that's when they'll set the maps.
That's when the Wisconsin Elections Commission says the maps have to be finished if they're going to be used in the April primary, if they're going to be used in the August primary, and if they're going to be used in the November general election.
Good luck. This has gone past opinion to fact. We will be talking about this more. But right now, that's all the time we have. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For Ben Youn, I'm JD Davidson. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe.
Get creative with Skillshare. Explore thousands of hands-on creative classes with one inspiring membership. Watch, play, learn, discover. Follow the link in our show description to join Skillshare today and get 1 month free.